Verse 13, what does it say? And Samuel came unto Saul, and Saul said, there goes my notes. And Saul said, Blessed be thou, O the Lord, and I perform the commandment of the Lord. And Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of sheep in mine ears? This lowing of the oxen which I hear. And Saul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites. For the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Not only did Saul cherry pick from God's commands, seeing the beauty in something that wasn't good for him, but the reasoning he provided brings about a good point of application for us today. Notice that Samuel comes to Saul in verse 13, and what does Saul tell him? I have performed the commandment of the Lord. Seems like an odd way to greet somebody who's walking up on you, doesn't it? It's almost like he was anticipating Samuel saying something, and he was trying to beat him to the jump. I need you to get the idea of a kid with like sticky hands. He's got chocolate syrup on his shirt, and he's telling his mama he's not eating the ice cream that she told him not to eat. That's how Saul is right now. The Bible doesn't say for sure, but in my mind, I see Saul, he's biting his fingernails as he sees Samuel walking down that road from far away. He's messed up. He knows he's messed up. He's got to figure out a way real quick to talk his way out of the predicament. And the solution he comes up with is to stage the conversation in a positive light the minute that Samuel arrives. He's not going to give Samuel time to come to the wrong assumption. He's going to bless him in the Lord. He's going to tell him he's living right and he's performing the Lord's commandments. And he's going to pray that them sheep in the background don't start buying. Now, so Saul's got his game plan in place. Samuel arrives, and I imagine Saul, he's rushing through his opener. He's hoping up that the rounded up livestock on the other side of the hill aren't going to, make any noise. They're going to be quiet for just a minute. And of course, we see in verse 14 that Samuel cuts through all that nonsense without skipping a beat. He pauses for a second. He listens, and then he plainly says, Saul, why do I hear sheep bleating? The first word out of Saul's mouth in verse 15. It says, and Saul said, they. Saul has failed to deflect and distract Samuel from his error. So he goes with the next best option. And that is to what? To blame. Notice that the word me and I is never used in verse 15. They brought them from the Amalekites. The people spared the best of the sheep and the livestock. The only time Saul includes himself is in that we. And that's when he's talking about following the Lord's commands to destroy everything. Now, I'm not a theologian, nor would I consider myself an expert in all the Bible, but I'm pretty sure that in the Bible, the kings had authority over the people, right? They carried the responsibility of the actions of their people. They led and directed their people. Saul had to say so to say no, but he didn't. He kept the things that he considered to be valuable, remember? I need you to see that Saul has been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He was a deer in headlights. He knew full well what Samuel wanted from that question, but rather than own up to his shortcomings, Saul passed the blame onto the people that God had entrusted him to serve and to lead. So what's the point, Sam? What's the point? The point is whatever sheep you hear bleeding in your life right now, that's your responsibility. That ain't nobody else's. We get asked the same question today by the Holy Spirit that Samuel asked Saul. Have you ever got that feeling in the pit of your stomach when you know you've done something wrong? Have you ever felt that twinge of shame or disgust? It's called conviction. It's conviction. And it comes through the Lord calling you to task. He's asking you to get right. And Jesus is asking you, he's saying, why have you not obeyed me fully?